I had some great teachers in high school, particularly at Algonquin. There was a woman named Helen Valad who taught grade 12 English, and she gave us an assignment one time, and it was one of the things you could do was something called A Walk with John Keats. We had studied a sonnet or two of his, and I wrote a little thing about going for a walk with John Keats, and she was very complimentary about it, and she said, you're a very good writer, and that made me think it might be something I could do. And then in grade 13, a very good teacher named Ron Klingspan, who later went on to teach up at Nipissing University, was very encouraging about poems. He praised them far beyond what they were worth, I know, but he was very encouraging, and that also I got the bug from that. And I was very enthusiastic about poetry at the time, so when I went to the University of Toronto, I went full bore into as much English literature as I could. I took as many courses as I could. But yeah, certainly the impetus came from here. I don't think I started a short story till I was in college. I was writing poems from the age of 13. When I was at Schollard, and then right through high school here at Algonquin and into university, and then I started writing short stories, some of which were set in North Bay at summer camp and things like that, and were revolved around the kind of people that I knew here, French Canadians or Indigenous people. Certainly where you grow up affects every writer. You just can't get away from it. In particular, when I came to write a crime novel, a detective novel, I thought long and hard about where to set it. I was living in New York at the time and had been living there for a long time. I thought, well, I could set it in New York. That might be a good thing in terms of commercial value. And I thought, well, Northern Ontario would be interesting. And the more I thought about it, the more I liked it, because I did grow up here and I knew it very, very well. And also I'd been coming back every year, at least once a year, from New York. But having been away so long, I began to see it, from more of a distance, a more objective view. So things that somebody who had lived here constantly, that they wouldn't notice or think twice about, to me look pretty exotic, And you have a sense that civilized as North Bay is, and it's certainly a lovely small city, but at the same time, you get to the edge of town, you walk out into the bush, you go 300 yards. If you get disoriented, you could be in there for a long time before you find your way out. There's that sense of, if you're writing thrillers, it's wonderful because there's a sense of threat. If you're an adventuresome type who wants to conquer the wilderness and your own fears and your own discomfort with winter, it's a great place to live for that. And I always found the islands out on Lake Nipissing very mysterious to me. They have quite an Aboriginal history. And they had this history of a small mining operation that was there that I used in one of the books, which is very interesting. Again, it's very exotic. This tiny little island, not much bigger than this auditorium. And there's a mine on it. It just goes straight down. I think being raised here, yes, I think it had a big impact. It's funny, it's a small town, and you don't tend to think of small towns as inclusive. Easily, half of my friends are French Canadian Francophone, which, again, I keep coming back to that word exotic, but North Bay was exotic to me coming from Southern Ontario, and later when I lived in New York. And I still see those friends. They all, I think because they grew up bilingual, they have a great love of language and puns and funny use of words and stuff, so I love chatting with them. And I've often used lines of theirs in the books. Lake Nipissing, until you see it, you don't realize how big that is. I mean, you see it on the map, and because the Great Lakes are down there, you think, oh, that's a little lake. But you come up here, and a lot of days you can't see the other side. That's a big piece of water, and it's very special to grow up beside. a big lake like that. Two very different lakes, two different characters, you know? That was like heaven for a little kid. Oh my goodness, me and my brother going camping with my best friend and his dog. Man, that was exciting. And the woods were a big part of my growing up. So I went to summer camp all the time, and I used to love that. So those are all good memories. Especially a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when they had a big wind and all the ice huts started moving across the horizon. Brilliant. I put that in my last Cardinal book, because it's just, how could you not? You know, you can't make that up.